They said humans were fragile. They said humans were small. They said humans were prey. On Station Epsilon 9, every single one of those statements was about to be obliterated. Vera Chen was technically a junior engineer, soft-spoken, tiny, and always munching on something. Sandwich in hand, she wandered through the corridors of the station, oblivious to the chaos her mere presence caused. Or maybe not so oblivious. Hard to tell. Predators. The massive, clawed, fanged apex species of 4 different galaxies instinctively made space for her. They shifted, moved aside, and some even slunk back into corners, tails curling, mandibles trembling. Biological instinct screamed danger, and every predator on the station could feel it. But they didn't understand why. Meanwhile, the prey species, the ones constantly hunted, always careful, watched with wide, knowing eyes. They had seen this coming. They had been trying to warn everyone for months. Vera wasn't just a human. She wasn't just Apex. She was Apex of Apex. The kind of predator that rewrote the rules without ever raising her voice. It was subtle at first. A predatory Hilarion ducking when she passed. A Krishna slinking to the edge of the corridor. But the signs multiplied. Security drones noticed the shift in predator behavior, statistically impossible. The station's AI flagged anomalies in threat response. And Vera? She kept walking, fiddling with her datapad, occasionally waving at a nervous, thrustling technician. No one could have predicted the day the war beast escaped its cage. A Class 8 bio-kraken, bigger than a shuttle, teeth sharp enough to pierce reinforced alloy, rampaging through the cargo bay. Security forces froze, weapons trembling in their hands. Chaos rippled through the station like a supernova. Vera didn't. She just walked toward the monster, her sandwich forgotten on the floor. A casual tap on the creature's nose. A firm, no, naughty, and impossibly, it sat. It purred. It obeyed. The predators watching froze. Biological instinct screamed. This human was not prey. This human was the ultimate predator. And the station had just realized it, too late. Word spread faster than any emergency alarm. By the next shift, predators weren't just giving Vera space. They were avoiding her corridors entirely. A Garath brute, normally the size of 2 shuttles, took the long way around engineering rather than risk a glance in her direction. Even the sleek, telepathic Virilians hesitated mid-telepathy, sensing danger they couldn't explain. Every instinct in every apex species screamed, do not provoke the human. Meanwhile, the prey species, those small, clever engineers, medics, and technicians, watched in quiet awe. They weren't just observing a strong human. They were witnessing a phenomenon. A species that seemed unassuming, fragile, and inconsequential, yet capable of commanding instinctive respect or fear from the galaxy's deadliest predators. Station life began to shift subtly. Walkways were cleared ahead of Vera without her asking. Doors opened automatically as if the AI had learned the protocol. Humans first, predators second. Predators muttered about curious evolutionary flukes, but even their arrogance couldn't hide the truth. The tiniest human, sandwich in hand, had rewritten the hierarchy of the station. That was when the incident occurred in Cargo Bay 9. Another Class 7 war beast, a monstrous, armor-plated quadruped, had broken loose during routine maintenance. Its roar shook the bulkhead, alarms blared, and predators froze in terror, weapons raised, but unmoving. The prey species watched, calm yet tense, fully expecting disaster. Vera, however, strolled into the bay, chewing thoughtfully on her sandwich. The war beast snarled, paws scraping reinforced flooring, but she didn't flinch. A casual whistle, a tap on its snout, a gentle, firm sit, and the creature did. It lowered its massive head, a low purr rumbling from deep within its chest. The predator's jaws slackened. The prey species nodded to each other knowingly. It was a pattern now. Anytime danger arose, predator, rogue AI, or bio-threat, Vera walked in and dominated without violence. Instinctively, predators submitted. Prey species learned to cooperate with her rather than fear her. Every interaction, every small act, reinforced the unspoken law. This human is apex of apex. And yet, the station's commander hadn't realized the full scale of the problem. 3 more humans were en route, scheduled to arrive in just 8 cycles. Commander Halvar stared at the holomap, hands clasped tightly behind his back. He had always prided himself on managing the galaxy's most diverse space station, keeping predator and prey species in uneasy equilibrium. But the data blinking at him now was alarming. 3 more humans were en route. 3 more, in just 8 cycles. He leaned closer to the console, rereading the manifest. Height, weight, assignments, nothing alarming. Yet instinct, reinforced by months of station experience, screamed, "This changes everything." He glanced at the live feed from engineering. There she was, Vera Chen, kneeling next to a Kreshna tech, adjusting a life support conduit while the massive Garath predator hovered in the corridor outside. Its claws scraped metal as it lurked, but not once did it approach her. It stayed back, obeying an instinct it didn't fully understand. "Commander," Lieutenant Threska said cautiously, "the prey species have begun to reorganize themselves around her movements. It's unprecedented." "Unprecedented is putting it lightly," Halvar muttered. "And if 3 more humans arrive?" His voice trailed off as he imagined the consequences. Meanwhile, Vera had returned to her snack. Sandwich in hand, she waved at a thrassling engineer scuttling by. The predator guarding the engineering bay froze mid-step, ears twitching nervously. The human's eyes met it, calm but unyielding. The creature stepped back obediently. The station's prey species whispered excitedly. "For humans," said one medtech, barely audible. "They don't just coexist. They coordinate. We're about to see apex predators working together, 4 of them on one station." Back in the command center, Halvar's visor displayed the security logs in real time. Every predator interaction Vera had triggered was recorded. Instinctive avoidance, subtle submission, hesitancy to act. Each entry highlighted a terrifying trend. The humans didn't need weapons. Their dominance was biological, psychological, inevitable. And it wasn't just predators that were concerned. Rogue biothreats, AI malfunctions, and environmental hazards began to behave differently around her, almost as if the station itself recognized her authority. Halvar exhaled slowly, the weight of reality settling in. 8 cycles, 3 more humans, and a station that had never known a true apex predator was about to be rewritten from the ground up. It was the kind of day most cadets remembered in nightmares. Cargo Bay 12, doors sealed for maintenance, alarms screaming across the station. A Class 9 war beast, the largest Vera had ever seen on Epsilon 9, had somehow slipped containment. Its claws gouged the reinforced floor, sparks flying with each impact. Predators froze in terror. Prey huddled behind consoles, trembling. Security drones swarmed, weapons armed, but no one moved. Vera, meanwhile, strolled in from the corridor, sandwich in hand. She didn't shout. She didn't panic. She stopped 3 meters from the beast, tilted her head slightly, and said softly, "Bad. Seat." The war beast stopped, its massive head lowered. A guttural rumble echoed in the bay. Not aggression, but submission. Predators blinked. Midtechs gasped. Security officers whispered among themselves. "This can't be real." Vera crouched slightly, carefully inspecting the creature's claw pads. She hummed a tune under her breath while it remained perfectly still, its massive tail curling behind it in a show of compliance. One predator, normally the fiercest enforcer on the station, shuffled nervously at the edge of the bay. Vera's gaze met it. One look, one flick of her hand, and it backed up several paces, muttering incomprehensible threats to no effect. The station AI flagged anomalies in predator behavior. Submission protocol triggered. Human threat level extreme. Meanwhile, the prey species observed with satisfaction. They'd known all along. Humans weren't just adaptable. Humans weren't just clever. Humans were apex. Apex of apex. And Vera was the embodiment of everything their instincts had feared and admired since her first day on the station. Commander Halvar, monitoring from the bridge, slammed his palm on the console. How is this possible? He demanded. Security logs showed every predator yielding instinctively. Every bio threat neutralized without force. Even rogue AI behavior had adjusted, interpreting Vera as the apex authority on the station. Vera finished her snack, wiped her hands, and stood. She didn't see the chaos she had caused. She barely even noticed. But the station had shifted. Life had reorganized itself around her presence. Every predator, every prey species, every hazard recognized one immutable truth. This small human dictated the balance of power, and the countdown to the arrival of 3 more humans ticked ever closer. For the first time, the predators stopped obeying instinctively. In dim corridors, hidden from the station's monitoring systems, the largest predators gathered in small groups. Their whispered growls and clicks carried tension and fear, mixed with frustration. How could a tiny human, no larger than some of their juvenile prey, command instinctive respect from every apex species aboard? Lieutenant Karath, a Garath enforcer with scars crisscrossing his face, hissed, "We are apex. We should be feared. We should not obey." Yet every time she approaches, we retreat. Even our instincts betray us. His peers grumbled in agreement. But the truth was undeniable. Vera wasn't just a human. She was apex of apex. Meanwhile, the prey species, quiet, clever, and observant, continued to take notes. They whispered strategies, suggesting ways to cooperate with Vera to ensure the safety of the station and themselves. Humans were not solitary predators. They were pack hunters. Coordination amplified their influence. The thought of multiple humans arriving sent shivers through even the most confident predators. Vera, oblivious to the plotting, continued her day as usual. Sandwich in hand, she passed through the engineering bay, tapping tools into place, adjusting life support, casually interacting with the largest predators aboard as though they were mere obstacles in her path. Each predator's hesitation, each twitch of instinct, only reinforced the silent, universal hierarchy. This human commanded everything she touched. Even Commander Halvar began to understand the scale of the problem. He scribbled frantic notes in his log. Predators uneasy, prey reorganizing around a single human, multiple humans incoming. He tried to imagine the consequences. For apex humans cooperating on one station. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. And somewhere deep in the station's cargo hold, 3 incoming human shuttles prepared to dock. Unknown to the crew, the balance of power and the entire ecosystem of the station was about to shift again irreversibly. It started as a routine maintenance cycle, but the station's systems began failing in rapid succession. Life support in the lower decks flickered, gravity zones destabilized, and alarms blared across the corridors. Normally, this would have sent predators into full panic, but now, with Vera present, the hierarchy of fear and submission became clear. A massive Kreshna predator, normally the first to charge in a danger, froze mid-stride as she approached. A single gesture, a calm hand raised in a slight wave, was enough to halt its instincts. Even the AI controlling automated drones hesitated, as if consulting the apex human before acting. Meanwhile, the prey species scrambled to follow her lead. Engineers, medics, and small species technicians moved in coordinated patterns she seemed to instinctively understand. Vera's gaze swept the hall, calculating, adjusting. She didn't shout commands. She didn't draw weapons. She simply moved, and everyone, predator and prey alike, adjusted to her rhythm. The chaos intensified when a rogue Class 7 war beast burst from the storage bays, its armor plating sparking against the metal floor. Security drones swarmed, predators lunged, but all froze when Vera stepped forward. She tilted her head, and with a single, firm tap on the creature's nose, it stopped in its tracks. The war beast lowered to a crouch, compliant and calm. Whispers rippled through the corridors. "She doesn't even fight, she commands," one predator muttered. Another hissed, "Instincts don't lie. This human is apex of apex." Commander Halvar observed from the bridge, notes scribbled frantically. He understood now. It wasn't just Vera. Her influence reshaped the behavior of the entire station ecosystem. Predators, prey, AI systems, even rogue bio-threats, all adjusted their behavior around her presence. The station itself had begun to obey her. And far above, in the docking bay, 3 new human shuttles prepared to arrive. Soon, the pack would expand. A coordinated force of apex predators would walk the station together. Halvar's mind raced with the consequences. Protocols would need rewriting, alliances reconsidered, and the galaxy itself might have to take note. Vera, sandwich in hand, adjusted a conduit and walked away, unaware of the legend she was creating. The station, however, already knew. The docking bay lights pulsed as 3 sleek human shuttles touched down, releasing hissed bursts of atmosphere and a cloud of exhaust. Station Epsilon 9 had seen arrivals from dozens of species before, but nothing like this. Every predator on duty froze instinctively, some retreating to the edges of the bay. Every prey species whispered excitedly, knowing exactly what was about to unfold. The first hatch hissed open. A tall, wiry human stepped out, scanning the station with a quiet, almost predatory focus. The second, muscular and broad-shouldered, followed, shoulders relaxed but eyes sharp. The third was smaller than the rest, a wiry engineer with a calm intensity reminiscent of Vera. Vera stepped forward to greet them, sandwich in hand, as if she were simply meeting colleagues for the morning shift. The predators recoiled subtly, unable to suppress instinctive respect, even fear. Even the largest Krishna gave her a wide berth. The humans didn't speak. They didn't need to. Within moments, it was obvious. They were a pack. Movements synchronized, eyes scanning, subtle gestures exchanged. They approached the rogue security drones in perfect coordination, and in moments, the AI systems acknowledged their dominance. Subtle nods of compliance in the drone protocols. The prey species erupted quietly in murmurs. Humans didn't just dominate individually. Humans coordinated, reinforced each other's authority, and amplified influence collectively. Predators that had resisted Vera alone now found themselves instinctively bowing to the pack's presence. Commander Halvar watched from the bridge, hand on his face, realization dawning. One apex human had reshaped the station. Now, 4 walking together, the galaxy hadn't prepared for this. Entire protocols, safety measures, and predator-prey hierarchies would need to be rewritten overnight, or the station risked chaos. Meanwhile, Vera casually tapped her new teammates on the shoulder, offering a sandwich to the smallest. The moment was mundane to her, but catastrophic in impact. The predators witnessed not just authority, but social cohesion and cooperation among apex humans. And far below, in the shadowed corners of the cargo bay, rogue bio-threats paused. Even they seemed to recognize the shift in power. For humans were now the station's law, instinctively respected by all. The stage was set. Epsilon 9 would never be the same. The station trembled. Gravity fluctuations, failing power nodes, and a sudden hull breach in Deck 42 set off alarms across Epsilon 9. Predators froze in fear, medtech scrambled, and the AI struggled to reroute automated systems fast enough to compensate. It was a disaster in the making until the human pack moved. Vera led, walking calmly into the chaos, sandwich forgotten on a nearby console. Behind her, the 3 newcomers fell into formation, moving with fluid, instinctive coordination. Every predator, even the largest giraffes, instinctively stepped aside. The apex humans were no longer a single anomaly. They were a cohesive force, an unspoken command of the station itself. The first threat was a rogue class, 8 bio beast tearing through the central conduit. Normally, It would have destroyed half a deck before security could react. Instead, the humans approached together. One human tapped the beast on the shoulder, subtle, almost casual. Another made a hand motion, guiding its movement. The third monitored environmental controls, adjusting pressure and containment protocols on the fly. Within seconds, the creature halted, lowered its head, and followed their combined commands like an obedient animal. Predators gaped. Prey species whispered frantically. The humans didn't raise weapons. They didn't yell. They simply exercised authority, individually small, but collectively unstoppable. Vera glanced at the commander's display, noting minor malfunctions and directing her teammates with silent gestures. Within minutes, the hull breach was sealed, failing nodes repaired, and rogue biothreats subdued. The station AI recorded the actions, algorithms adjusting autonomously in response to human control patterns. Halvar sank into his chair. They don't just dominate individually. They amplify each other, he muttered. Every predator on the station instinctively acknowledged the truth. For humans moving as one weren't just apex. They were apex of apex beyond comprehension. Even the prey species, normally cautious, celebrated quietly. They understood now that cooperation with humans wasn't just advisable, it was survival. The balance of power on Epsilon 9 had irrevocably shifted. And somewhere in the mess of sparks and smoke, Vera picked up her sandwich again, taking a bite as though nothing extraordinary had occurred. But the entire station had witnessed something extraordinary. Humans weren't just predators. They were a coordinated force no one could ignore. In the shadowed corridors of Epsilon 9, whispers turned to planning. The predators, proud, ruthless, and accustomed to fear-based dominance, held secret councils. Giraffes bared their claws, Kreshnas hissed sharp commands, and telepathic Virilians exchanged urgent warnings. They were apex species, trained to hunt and dominate. But now they faced a predator they couldn't challenge, the humans. "We cannot confront them directly," growled Lieutenant Koroth. "Instincts betray us. Even our weapons hesitate. Plans were drawn, simulations run, strategies debated. Yet every scenario crumbled under a single truth. The humans acted as one. Their coordination amplified not only their influence, but the instinctual fear of every other apex species aboard. Every predator strike was second-guessed by an innate hesitation. Every maneuver countered by the humans' seamless teamwork. Meanwhile, Vera and her 3 teammates moved through the station as though it were ordinary. Systems were checked, rogue drones pacified, and small emergencies handled with precision and calm. A massive predator, sent as a distraction, paused mid-attack, sniffed the air, and retreated instinctively as the human pack passed. The predators could not comprehend it. Their pride, their power, their instincts, all subverted by 4 humans moving in perfect harmony. Prey species watched, relief and awe mingling. "They aren't just survivors," whispered a thrastling engineer. "They're coordination incarnate. They don't fight. They exist, and everything else submits." Commander Halvar, monitoring from the bridge, finally understood the implications. The station wasn't just reorganizing itself, it was submitting. Every predator, every biothreat, even the automated systems deferred to humans. Protocols meant to maintain balance were already obsolete. 8 cycles earlier, he had feared a single anomaly. Now, for humans had made Epsilon 9 theirs without firing a shot. And as the humans continued their silent patrol, casually adjusting life support, checking reactor nodes, and bopping unruly war beasts on the nose, one truth became undeniable. Resistance was futile. Apex species, by instinct or by pride, had no counter to coordinated humans. The galaxy had underestimated humans. On Epsilon 9, it would learn the hard way. 8 cycles later, Epsilon 9 was unrecognizable. The predators no longer strutted through corridors with arrogance. They moved carefully, subtly deferring whenever humans approached. The prey species, confident and cooperative, had reorganized entire departments around the humans' routines. And At the center of it all was Vera Chen, sandwich in hand, calm as ever, the very definition of apex of apex. The pack had settled into an unspoken rhythm. Every challenge, from rogue war beasts to malfunctioning AI, was met not with violence alone, but with coordinated presence. Vera led, the others followed, instinctive cooperation amplifying their authority. Predators learned quickly, interfere at your peril. Even the bravest Garaths now paused and reconsidered when 4 humans crossed their path. The station's commander, Halvar, finally called a full assembly. All species aboard, he began, voice trembling with a mix of awe and resignation. It appears the humans have redefined the hierarchy. Effective immediately, station protocols must acknowledge their authority. Predators grumbled, but even their protests lacked conviction. Deep down, instinct had spoken. They had no choice. In Cargo Bay 12, a massive war beast, once a terror that froze entire squads, now lay curled around a heat vent, purring as Vera absent-mindedly tapped her datapad. Another Class 7 beast followed the pack calmly, nudging the smallest human in silent deference. The prey species looked on, barely suppressing smiles of relief. They had predicted this. Every predator, prey, and automated system now operated under a new order, one defined not by size, strength, or species, but by intelligence, cooperation, and sheer human adaptability. And as rumors of 4 humans coordinating spread across the galaxy, every species would rethink the rules of survival. Because one bored human could tame monsters with a tap. For working together, that was a galactic-level revolution. And Epsilon 9 was just the beginning.